What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. Today I want to talk to you on EV demand and what that's going to look like for Lucid bigger picture. Outside of that though, what Lucid is currently doing to prepare for a lot of key deliveries. So I'm going to be talking on both those aspects, but before I get into any of that, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. With that, let's get right to it. So when it comes down to demand, we already know that it's there. And not only that, it's going to grow. So it is projected that roughly 22% of all vehicles by 2030 are going to be EVs. So that is a very big transition. And even just the EV market per se by 2025 is estimated to reach 567 billion. So that is a massive increase. And not only that though, there is a lot of governments worldwide committed to certain deadlines to transition to either a certain percentage or whatever it is to EVs for a greener economy. And a lot of those deadlines are either 2030, 35, 2040, you guys get that. And I've touched on that quite a few times in the last couple of videos. That in conjunction with this, so like I said, the huge amount of forecasted demand for EVs is just going to increase massively. So this is why it's a very good time to invest in EVs. But at the same time, when there's money to be made, there's going to be a lot more competition. So this is what I'm getting at when it comes down to Lucid on how important these deliveries are for Lucid in and among itself. So this just came out, Rolls-Royce, it did commit to a $350,000 luxury EV. So that definitely could be a little bit more on a competition aspect to Lucid. Keep in mind, a lot of people I'm sure already are thinking right now, well, Lucid is a very spec kind of situation. It's a luxury but also a performance vehicle. You have to keep in mind, depending on the price point, some people don't necessarily care about performance. Yes, whatever vehicle I have, I would love for it to go 1-2 seconds faster when I'm going 0 to 60, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. So that's just my own interpretation on that. So keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. And what I mean by that is that there's going to be more and more demand, more and more competition going out there. Especially, like I said, when there's money to be made, people and companies will show up and to try and take market share. And even Kia, as you can see, 2030 Kia is starting to have a lower price vehicle, full EVs. Like I said, it goes back to that performance aspect. 253 miles is very, very crappy. Very small. But for someone who's just going back and forth to Walmart, to old grandma that just wants to transition possibly to an EV, no pun intended to about grammar or anything like that, but you guys get what I'm saying. If someone doesn't necessarily do long road trips, they have no demand or desire for, let's say, 520 miles for range, definitely this might be a very good competition. And this is what I'm getting at. There's a lot of demand out there. Technically, this Kia might not necessarily be in direct competition to any of the Lucid Airs, but still, it's one of those things that what I'm getting at is that a lot of competition is going to be entering into the market over the next decade per se. Like I said, 2030 is estimated to be 22% of all vehicles out there being EVs. And that's not necessarily just North America, that is globally. So that's a very, very big deal. And I believe right now it's only around 2 to 3% globally of all the vehicles are EVs. That's I think based on the 2021 latest stats. So definitely a big transition is going to be coming in the following years. But like I said, when it comes down to it, Lucid does have amazing technology and performance. We just need to capitalize and really just push out a lot of vehicles as much as obviously keeping in line with quality and so forth. But like I said, production is very key. This is definitely one of the kryptonites of Lucid, but based on the latest Bears Workshop flyovers, it does look like Lucid is really ramping up and kind of maintaining the 50 vehicles per day. So that is a very good thing. Keep in mind, I think we need to get a little bit more for Q4, possibly around the 60 to 70 per day, but still, that's just being a little bit more optimistic. And we do need to start ramping up in general for 2030 demand, because as of right now, I'm sure all of us already know, they cut the 2022 production numbers, but they haven't cut the 2023. So definitely it is slated to do, I believe, around 49,000 vehicles in 2023. So definitely they need to take advantage of the actual advantage that they have right now on technology and performance and get a lot more market share. So that's just my own 2 cents, like I already said. But when it comes down to them doing some key deliveries right now, Very exciting stuff. So based on their Q2 earnings, they said, we also expect to ship our very first Lucid Air to Europe and Saudi Arabia by year end. And we're getting very close to the year end, and a couple good updates in that regard. So you can see right here, Sultan did post a couple pictures of a couple Lucid Airs in Saudi Arabia. I don't believe that these vehicles were destined for delivery. I think this is just more so testing, as what he even says, more so for the infrastructure and so forth, making sure all the charging stations and so forth work. So this is just obviously my own 2 cents, but clearly they are getting ready for these deliveries. So hopefully that is exactly on target for them to continue and to do these deliveries by the year end. And outside of that, 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗧 Gold. So once again, during a Bears workshop flyover, a lot of individuals look at the finite details of all of this. And as you can see at the very bottom, it does look like someone caught a right here 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗧 Gold color. So that is a very distinct color for Dream Editions only, insinuating this might be for Europe, possibly, or Saudi Arabia. Regardless, definitely both destinations are going to be having Dream Edition. Just in Europe, they're going to be having the P and the R versions. As far as I know, I think they're still using the 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗧 Gold for that color. I haven't seen anything to kind of say otherwise, or possibly, like I said, for Saudi Arabia, one or the other. But regardless of that, they're clearly on target to have these deliveries by the year end. So definitely a lot of pivotal movements happening behind the scenes that is all very much exciting for us as investors. Even more so today, we were very much red and we transitioned to green. So definitely it is a win-win for investors right now. And these are very cheap prices in my own opinion and 2 cents. So if you do have a long-term time horizon, for instance, to encumber this 2025 or even 2030, these are amazing prices to add to your position, average down, or whatever it is. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. If you like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.